Welcome to another tutorial on Too Tall Toby's practice models designed in IronCAD. Well, this is a fish adapter dated 6/7/2024. Fairly simple model, a lot of cylinders here basically. So we have some cylinder geometry that's for the base of this, which we have a 96. And then we have an overall length of 123. And we know our outer diameter of this is 88, and this other one is calculated based on the 52 and the thickness of these walls. So just add 20 to that. So 72 for this thickness here. Then we need to put a cylinder on the top with a value, and we can shell this model for 10 millimeters all the way through, except for up here we have to have a 38 hole and a 20 millimeter hole, so that won't give us the right thickness, so we'll just add another hole there, and we can add our rib on here and just give it a 45-degree angle on that rib. So it's fairly simple to do, and we have our height dimension here as well for the top of that cylinder. So let's go ahead and design this IronCAD. Let's hop over there. So first again, so we're going to be in our units. We're going to set our units here to millimeters, and we're going to do grams as well. And we're going to go ahead and drop out a cylinder to start off with. And again, the overall diameter of this is 110, and the initial length is 96 for that. So we'll just type in those values to get our starting point. So this is our starting cylinder inside of here, and we're going to do another drag and drop of another cylinder here. So we've done this in many other videos. We can drop it right in the center on this point, and then we can do an edit distance from here to the back. To do that, another way to do this is just actually move this back to here, since we don't physically build any relationships on geometry like you would find in structured systems where that's attached to that face. If I pulled that, it would actually extend it the other way. IronCAD is free to move this geometry around. So now I moved it to the back side, and I can set the total length basically. So I can set 123 for that total distance. And again, our diameter is based on that 52 plus 20, 72 diameter inside of there. Next, we'll add our outside cylinder here. Again, this one's going to go the opposite direction, so we'll just right click and reverse that. We'll set the diameter for that one, which is set to 88, and its thickness. If we look at our thickness here, we can get this back handle here, which we know is a total thickness of 12 on that. While we're here, we can go ahead and add the chamfers to this. So if we wanted to go ahead and add the chamfer, we can right click on that, say chamfer edge, and we're going to do a distance angle of 3 and 45 inside of there, so it's 3 and 3 either way to build that. So that's the chamfer on those two edges there. Next, we'll go ahead and put this cylinder on the top. So again, we'll just drop our cylinder right on this point here, and the reason I'm using that is that's the center location that we have to define the height. So we're to use that, use our TriBall to rotate this up negative 90 degrees. We'll move it in the distance that it specifies, which on this one is 50 millimeters, and we know that overall height of this is 84. We also know the diameter on this guy is 38 as well. So we've got that geometry created there as well. Last, we'll go ahead and put this blend here, which we know is set to a value of 14 millimeters, and hit OK to apply that. And now we can do our shell. So we can access our shell a couple ways. One is up on the ribbon bar on here. You can select your part, hit your S key. It's also located right there, or you can right click on the part and hit shell as well. And what we're going to open up are these faces here. So we have a 10 millimeter thickness all the way around. We're going to pick this top one again. We really don't need to pick that one, but we'll pick it anyways just to show you what I mean. And we'll pick out this top face here as well. So this will create some interesting geometry because of that chamfer, but we're going to cut that off anyways. So since this is 38, a 10 millimeter is not going to keep this diameter. If we look at this, it's going to be 9 instead of a 10 millimeter. So we just need to drop another cylinder onto this hole here and set that to a 20 millimeter hole for that one. So that's an easy way to cut that out. So that gives us our basic shape there. So let's go ahead and work on this piece here. So we're going to cut this out anyways with another cut on here. So we're going to hold our shift key down, select this edge, and drop it right on the center. And we know that diameter on that is 64. And the depth really doesn't matter. I can pull it in or out. It doesn't really matter where it's going, because what we're going to do is we're going to change the taper angle on this. So we're going to right click on that and go to surface reshaping. And we have the side taper here. And we're going to select that and say negative 45. We want it to go inside the part. So we're going to say negative 45 and cut that out. So that will go ahead and cut that into our geometry. So again, this outside edge, if we look down here, is 32, which is 64. And this inside should still be the 52, which is 26 times 2. So that gives that shape there. Next, let's go ahead and add our rib geometry here. So we can go to our shapes catalog, drag and drop a rib onto the center point on the top. And then we can use a TriBall to rotate this around. So we just rotate it up 90 degrees, and we'll rotate it around 180 here. So we'll just rotate it 180 as well. Next, we can align this to our front face, and we'll pull this in here. It doesn't really matter, just somewhere distance. So we'd say somewhere in here is where we want that. And we know the diameter on this rib is 8 millimeters for that. And we need to offset it from that front edge 10 degrees. So to do that, we know the overall length, and it's aligned at that face. So all we need to do is subtract 10 millimeters from that to give us our offset. And now that we know this value here, so one thing you can do is double click this. We know this value is 26. We're going to copy that. We're going to go up to this top handle and double click on it and hit Control V to paste. That will give us the distance for this and this are equal, so that will give us an actual 45. So if you wanted to see that, we don't have to go into any sketches, but if you select those two, that's going to be an angle of 45 right there. So that's an easy way to do that. One thing else we want to do is notice it creates this little gap here. We can leave it off there if you want, but if you want to make it nice, you can extrude that down. But you notice since this is on this edge, it's actually creating a non-manifold case. There's actually a split edge right down the middle. So if you select that bottom face, for example, notice that it's only going to select that half of that. So we want the whole face. So one way we can do is just suppress this cylinder in here by right-clicking and saying suppress. It's going to tell us those blends are filling because it's gone, but that's okay. We're just going to go to this bottom face here and just pull it down to extrude a little bit of material. So we'll just add a little bit of material to that. Go back to our scene browser. There's our cylinder that we can see suppressed. We can unsuppress that, and all of our blends will come back and everything else. And now we see our little extra material that's added there. So that's just an easy way to add that to make it completely closed there at the bottom. Last, we'll go ahead and add our next cylinder on here. We'll drag and drop it to the center here, and this has a diameter for that one of 96, and it's got a depth on this, so once you hit the enter twice to get to the depth of that is 14 to set that depth on there. So that builds our model for us inside of here. Fairly simple, mainly cylinders again, no sketch geometry on this one at all. So now we can go to our properties. Our density for this is 7800, so it should be a mass of 3224 for that model. So there's how you can build this one in IronCAD. Again, we're trying to avoid some of the sketch geometry in here. So again, you can build it with sketches if you like, but we're showing you some alternates and some differences between some structured modeling where they build automatic relationships where we can not create those and dynamically change geometry like we did for this cylinder. So hopefully you find this useful. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good day.